We are starting session 3. Unfortunately, it's a graveyard session. Yo, can I have my jacket, my love? Tomorrow it's nice because that's the opportunity. Director, you want to sit here? Please. Kancane, kancane, the women are coming back. For those who have not been here for a while, can you please call your provincial fellow delegates and tell them that we're moving without them? That's fine. That's fine. We should be, by 4:30 we should be done. I'm praying, yeah. Okay. The minister. Just in case you didn't know. Yes, my love, can they start coming in? Can the minister and the entourage, can they start coming in? I don't know. Can we start the second session without them? Okay. Okay, my darling. Past 3. We'll be starting in the next 5 minutes, with or without the rest of the delegation. Just as people are walking in, if somebody finds a room key written F10, a room key written F10, can they please bring it to me? It's for Ingwenyama, so it's a room key for this hotel. I also have a room key for H05. A room key for H05. It's just white. Oh, then she must have dropped it when she was here. Thank you. So the room key for F10, if you find it, please can you bring it to me? It belongs to a lady from the Western Cape. And then Eliza Pumzile Hlope has lost a white handbag. Eliza Pumzile Hlope, we have your white bag. Ow! It doesn't have money. I wish, yeah. Thank you. So the only other thing now is the room key for F10. Can we officially start? Thank you, ladies. Thank you, ladies. Can we start session 3, please? We have a gala dinner. So it's in our best interest to finalize our last session so we can go and change and look glamorous and come back. And besides, they need us to leave this room so that they can start decorating for us for the gala dinner. So we are still moving nicely, cruising nicely. A little bit behind on time, but we'll make up for it. Minister Chikunga, when she gave, thank you, ladies. Aye. Thank you, ladies. Can we be silent, please? The order of the day is? So, I hlale phansi. That's it. Thank you. Ayikawubambi kodwa umthetho. Ladies, it can't be that difficult for us not to chat to each other. Like I keep saying, this is your event. Its success is on you. I will not start until we are all quiet. Eastern Cape ladies, you are not quiet. Mama Chairperson of the Eastern Cape, your table is not quiet. Maybe let's start doing that. Yes, please. Thank you so much. We're getting into the last session of today, and I'm expecting that this session will be as smooth as the other ones went. What we're going to be speaking to in the last session is 2 different things. One, we'll speak to the constitutional review process, where we are in terms of that. We'll speak to the introduction of the operational model structure that we are about to adopt as SANWIT. And then we'll have our 2 MECs, MEC from Limpopo and MEC from KZN, who will conclude the day for us. Minister Chikunga, when she spoke to the opportunities that have been created within NEPAD. She spoke to the presidential stimulus package. We are 4 days away from hosting the BRICS countries together with 67 other African nations. we as a woman of transport need to have a word when BRICS comes to South Africa. In fact, if I was in charge, I would dare say that there should be a representation from SANWIT that attends BRICS. Because otherwise you will not be on the dining table. And the minister kept on saying she's not seeing you at the dining table. She kept on saying, where are you at the dining table? She kept on saying, force yourselves into the dining table. So I'm expecting that by tomorrow, we have a delegation of 1 or 2 Ds. Would mean that we are not taking ourselves serious. If it means we just stand at the gate where BRICS is and say, SANWIT, then so be it. The time has come for us to push the ceiling. You know I said it, ne? We're walking through closed doors. Singena ngama festere if it needs be. We're breaking through the roofs if needs be. So I'm expecting a delegation of SANWIT at BRICS. Long have people decided on our behalf. Long have we entreated and sat on the side walls of discussions that we should be party to. SANWIT must be at BRICS next week. BRICS is here. We don't know when we will host BRICS again. I want to now call on our first speaker for the second session, Ms. Babiki Pahlane, to tell us about the constitutional review. After that, it will be the Director of Black Economic Empowerment, Mr. Patrick Nemububuni. We also have on stage our Chief Director, Mr. Mvikeli Ngamu, and he'll also be here to answer any of the questions that you'll have after this. I'm not going to come up, colleagues. So you will speak and you'll speak. I'll come up when we're taking the questions. Are we all together? It's a graveyard session, but it's a corner. Just one song, just for me to be sure you are here. There's something I'm not feeling. Carry on. The song can never be correct if you are sitting. There's no way. Yeah, okay, these are the women in transport I know. Are those who are sitting not singing with us? I'm just checking. KZN, are you already asleep? Mpumalanga, Free State, are we together? Eastern Cape, are you not singing with us? Aye. We're keeping the same energy. Your song is not gelling now. Your song is collapsing. Me, I'm good at ululating. Two. Uchikunga ngowetu, ungowetu ngempela, uzasinika amathenda. Welele ziwelele, uchikunga ngowetu, ungowetu ngempela, uzasivuleli opportunities. Sithi welele siwelele. Thank you. Babiki, over to you.
Dumela. Okay, I'm waiting for the projector. Thank you, Program Director, Honorable Minister, MEC Rachilani, MEC Shomuka, the Chief Executive officers of our transport agencies, SANWIT leadership and members, senior managers of transport, all government officials, Bomme, thank you for allowing me. Oh, I'm still waiting for the presentation, but I can go. My role today is to talk about the rationale for the review of the Constitution. I'm going to talk about what is SANWIT Constitution, what is it seeking to achieve, and how far are we. I will continue. SANWIT Constitution is a legislative framework that seeks to promote women empowerment and transformation within the transport industry. I'm sure you're all aware that transport is male-dominated. SANWIT was established to encourage women to penetrate the transport sector. SANWIT was established to ensure that women have access to the business opportunities. And this structure was established to ensure that it addresses the challenges that women face in the transport sector. Okay. SANWIT was developed in 2008. I spoke to what is seeking to achieve. I'm going to skip this slide. SANWIT is the supreme law, not SANWIT, the Constitution of SANWIT as the supreme law of the network. It shall bind the National Council. If I may explain, the National Council consists of the officials of the Department of Transport, SANWIT office bearers, and the provincial chapter chairpersons and its subsidiaries. Okay, I spoke to the leadership and other structure which may be created by the network. Currently, Bomme spoke about the SANWIT Constitution has been outdated. It's very old, and it does not align with some of the current needs of the organization. And this misalignment, it affects, amongst others, the resuscitation of the structure, issues of corporate governance, financial controls, roles and responsibilities of SANWIT as an organization. I don't know, do you hear me? Okay, sorry. Okay. Okay, let me look at you then. Up, okay.
Yeah, also hold the mic close.
Okay.
Can you bring it up?
Oh, okay. SANWIT Constitution is old and outdated. It does not align to the current needs of the organization. The misalignment that we're talking to, it talks to issues of corporate governance, issues of roles and responsibility, financial controls, the roles and responsibilities of the National Council. I think I explained that the National Council consists of the officials of Department of Transport, SANWIT office bearers, and provincial chapter chairpersons. And we have established that if you look at the functions of the National Council, the Department of Transport plays a role of a referee and a player, and then at times there's conflict. Okay, I'm not going to talk to the round table. The minister and DDG alluded to it. They spoke about the outcome of the round table. As they said, one of it was the review of the SANWIT Constitution. Okay. This also talks to the resolutions. I'm not going to talk to it. Okay, currently, where we are, the Department of Transport appointed a service provider to review the Constitution. What's going to happen? The SANWIT provincial chapters will be consulted and members to review the Constitution. Thank you.
Director.
Okay. Oh, ke tla ilo dula ka kwa or service.
How do you put it?
Stuff it in for you. I just forced it. And then here, this is for
Okay.
next.
Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm going to present the important part of our deliberation so far. We know the background, so I'm not going to dwell much on that. Maybe before I start, as you can see, my name is Patrick, according to Home Affairs. It's Musandiwa Patrick Nema Bubuni, all the way from Limpopo. I'm still the Makoti in the department. I'm the newly appointed director for Black Economic Empowerment. So yes, I'm a reverend. There was one guy who was invited to speak in a community function. And all of the community members, they knew this guy is not a church person. He's not a church person at all. And they gave him the opportunity to talk. They said, "Can you address us?" And then he said, "No, this is a church gathering, and you guys, you know I'm not a church person. But at least I know something that I can say in terms of greetings." And he said, "I greet you all in the name of God." It was off. It was weird. So I wanted to start on that note as I'm coming now to the protocol. I wanted to say Amanda, but by virtue of being a reverend, it's awkward, you'll understand. So thanks to the MECs present here today. Thanks to the senior officials in the department. Thanks to the key members of this AGM, the SANWIT members, and all protocol observed for those that I didn't mention their names or portfolios. So what I'm going to do here is straightforward. I don't want to add on the issues, especially regarding the challenges. We've had enough, isn't it? We've had enough. So item number 1 was the problem statement. I'm not going to dwell on that. We all know what the problem is. Background, the Secretary of SANWIT or the interim SG touched on that. I'm not going to dwell on the background. But my item is item number 3, the introduction of SANWIT operating model structure. What is the machinery that can carry all these challenges that we discussed? This is the baby that we're talking about, that we want to give birth today to a baby who will crawl, who will start to talk, who will start to show that there is life, isn't it? So this is the proposed machinery to take SANWIT from today going forward. And number 4, very key. I'll be linking my way forward to what the minister said. So let's get to the issues. I'm not going to dwell on the background. We all know the challenges facing us, the challenges of governance. We know about that now. But let me proceed to the second item, which is now the operating model structure that we are proposing. And just to tell you, which is part of the thing that must motivate us to support this structure that we are proposing today, is that as officials, with my chief director here and our DDG, we presented the model structure to our minister and she's supporting it 120%. So that's a plus. So let's get to the details. This is an aerial view of the machinery that we want it to carry all these challenges of SANWIT and make it a living structure. I will show you a one slide where you will see every element of this structure. But before we get there, you can see there that we have got two wings which are very critical that we are proposing. Number one is the corporate wing. With this wing, the corporate arm, with a strategic focus, and that is the main focus of it, it is on the modes of transport to ensure SANWIT is geared towards sourcing and unlocking opportunities and funds. That is very important. So this corporate wing will be taking care of all the opportunities that are available in the department, available in our state-owned companies. So this will be the wing that will be driving that agenda. And second to that, it will be the empowerment wing. We know that there is no transformation without skilling of people. This is one of the things that we're talking to say we want to be empowered in terms of skills, in terms of how to govern. And this is the wing that will be addressing that, the empowerment wing. And it says here that this wing will focus on taking on corporate social responsibility. In the context of BEE, or Black Economic Empowerment, this is what we call socio-economic development. So this wing will be addressing those issues, which will include training, skills analysis, outreach programs to communities and collaborations with academia, especially mentorship of young female professionals. That includes the students and graduates in transport to ensure exposure across the board. So those are the two main wings of which we are saying, together with the minister, if we have these two wings, they are going to address the issues and the challenges that we are facing as SANWIT. Very key. You will see them when I get to the next slide, which is coming. So the next one, it is the target group. You might be asking yourself a question to say, who is going to be in this structure? And this slide answers that question. Who is the target group for filling the posts that are in this new structure? And what I'm presenting here today is a cold structure. We are not going to nominate people here today to fill these positions. We are not going to do that. We are introducing the structure. And the target group, I will read because this is very important. And it says, the structure will be derived from a diverse group of women in the transport sector to ensure that SANWIT is inclusive, number one, representative of the diversity of women in the sector. Overall, the goal of this approach is to promote gender equality and empower women in the transport sector. Further to that, the details in terms of who are the people that we'll be looking for as we start to put warm bodies to this structure. Number A, SANWIT to have committees in specific interest in a mode of transport rather than provincial structure. I'll explain that. What we are saying there is that we are taking a new direction of which we are convinced that is going to address our issues. And the direction that we are taking is that SANWIT is not going just to be a provincial structure, but it's going to take a direction of incorporating all the modes of transport. That is the direction. So that will be the structure at national level, the structure at provincial level. And that will deal with many issues that we are facing today and we are unable to resolve. So that's what we are saying in number A. So number B, SANWIT structure will be derived from SANWIT members in communities, SANWIT provincial chapters, women from state-owned entities reporting to the Department of Transport, women from other women formations in the transport sector, women from government, women from the private sector as well. Do you get a sense? So it's targeting every woman who has got interest in the transport sector. That's what we are saying. And number 3, target diversity of women in their respective areas of mode of interest. You'll remember that as we were completing the form in our website, the link that was sent to you, you had to indicate which mode of interest are you interested in. So that's the tone that we are trying to sell here. So that will include, it's not only interest, you'll see in brackets, it also includes skills. We want people with skills, not only interest, talent, hard workers, commitment, age. We're talking about the young blood coming into the mainstream of SANWIT in terms of leadership, and also the geographic location. So this slide answers a whole lot of questions to say who's going to be appointed into this new structure. And we get to the main one. You can take photos now. This is the whole picture of the direction that we are taking. In the middle, you'll see that we are talking about the interim council or committee in transport. Like I said, it will include DOT officials if they are nominated, stream leaders or captains in the industries, and state-owned company representatives. Keyword for that block is that we are going to look for neutral people. People who are neutral. They don't have strong attachment with the current SANWIT. So that is the main thing, the neutral persons to come and be in the position of taking the role of resuscitating everything that we're saying here, to say we want to resuscitate, we want to resuscitate. This is the committee that will take us from the date of inception, once they are appointed into those positions, as an interim council or committee, either for 6 months or for a year, until we see that we have taken off as SANWIT. So that will be communicated as well. So one thing that I can say before I pass there is that we are strongly convinced as a department that this role of appointing interim council members for this new operating model structure will be led by the department, having our minister in the forefront, leading this process so that we take off. That is the purpose. So the department, being led by our minister, will be leading the process of finding neutral people who can lead us until we see that, you know what, we've taken off. Now we are moving. And that is the strong position that we're taking. So I've already talked to the empowerment wing, but just to get to the details, that is very key. You need to be empowered before you can even be given shares in a company or you become a manager. You need to be empowered. So that wing is going to be responsible for the corporate social responsibility or the socio-economic development in the language of BEE. And what we are looking for there, the target is the transport students. The target, number 2, young professionals. Number 3, transport subsidiary enterprises. So that is the empowerment wing. On my left hand here, the corporate wing, where we are saying there must be a business unit. Where in this business unit, the main mandate will be to source opportunities and funds and funds so that we can empower SANWIT women in terms of opportunities, number one, and number two, in terms of funds as well. For example, you want to start a business, or you got a deal where they need some sort of your commitment in terms of your capital contribution. So we are seeing this part of the corporate wing to solve that problem of making available, number one, opportunities, and number two, money as far as possible. So that wing will be very busy. So let's say out of that business unit, we get opportunities. How is it going to be communicated? And that's where you see the different modes of transport. So when an opportunity comes to this corporate wing, and it will be scrutinized, and then it will be identified if it should be channeled through the rail stream, through the maritime stream, so that there will be an assessment to say this opportunity, where should it go among the modes of transport? And it will be channeled accordingly. And when I'm there, on the modes of transport, it means in our provinces, our current provincial structures, this is what you need to be doing from today. The direction is to have your provincial chapter, but consisting of different modes of transport. So that is the direction. Same structure, same perspective at national level in terms of the interim, same understanding with regard to the provinces as well. And you'll see the last part there is the public transport stream. Maybe I should go through all the boxes because it's very important. Under the rail, this is what we can deliberate on. Under rail, we are seeing there that we are talking about the state-owned companies and private sector, nationwide reach. In terms of maritime, state-owned companies and private sector, focus primarily on Gauteng. So this is where we can deliberate to say, maritime, where best can we fast track the empowerment of women in terms of maritime? So here we've written Gauteng and coastal provinces and inland provinces as well. When it comes to aviation, state-owned companies and private sector, primary focus, Gauteng province, Western Cape, KZN, and secondary focus, developing airport provinces. In terms of road transport stream, state-owned companies and private sector, road freight in terms of trucking and courier, road infrastructure as well. The last mode, public transport stream, state-owned companies, public sector, private sector, consisting of the taxi and conventional meter taxi, bus commuter and shuttle, e-hailing, a new kid in the block, e-hailing and digital innovations. So that is the details, the aerial view of how we have deliberated as the department, and we feel strongly that if we take this SANWIT operating model structure, it will carry all the burdens and stresses that we have now. And that is my presentation, way forward, my last slide. What is the way forward from here? Number one, I'm linking this with what the minister was saying. So in terms of resuscitating SANWIT, the way forward is the implementation of the proposed operating model structure at national and provincial levels. So that is the direction that we are taking to say, you know what, we go modes way, all the way. So number two, the review of the Constitution. Where does the Constitution review come into place? What we are doing here, we all know that SANWIT is an independent structure, legal entity. So if we don't effect these changes in the Constitution, we are not going anywhere, because you will want to do something and then it's not covered in the Constitution. So the Constitution, in the main idea is to align it to the proposed operating model structure. And the way forward on that, as Babiki was reporting here, we've already appointed a consultant. So we're going to do provincial consultations by the appointed service provider, and we are coming to your province. It means from today, you start working. You must start to have your inputs as a collective, not as an individual. As a collective, you must come up with your sort of position paper in terms of the things that you want to see changed or infused in the Constitution. And then in terms of the other way forward, in terms of developing a clear plan of action, I've already said that we are going to appoint an interim SANWIT council or committee that will consist of neutral persons with a mandate of establishing a feasible, viable SANWIT operating model structure. So the mandate is very clear. We are going to get neutral people with capacity to deliver and skills and experience to say, can you help us to take this SANWIT, to help SANWIT to take off? That is the mandate that we are giving this new structure and committee. So the second one is the appointment, is that the appointment will be done by the National Department of Transport through the leadership of our minister. And that is the general way forward, which captures everything that we're talking to. As I conclude, the former president of the USA, and this is one of the famous statements that he said, and I want to challenge all of us here, as I'm going to sit down now. He said, "My fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country. Change is the law of life, and those who look only to the past or present are certain to miss the future." Thank you very much.
Thank you to the Reverend. It's as clear as daylight. I don't think anyone did not hear what both Babiki and the Honorable Reverend had to say. Because I'm a person who likes to play fair, are there any questions about the presentation? Now, if your first input is outside that, I'm going to cut you and move on to the next person. It's just about the structure and the review of the Constitution exclusively. I see your hand, Mama. That's one hand. I see your hand. Northern Cape, that's two. Now I must pay attention. Last time I think you people dribbled me here. It's you, Mama, number one. Yes, you, Mama. Number two, Northern Cape. Number three, Western Cape. Number four, Mama. Number 5, number 6, number 7, 8, 9, 10. That's it. It's 10, eh? It's 10. And I'm going to stop you if we're not limiting it and concentrating it to the Constitution as well as the new modal structure that has been proposed for SANWIT. Can we start?
Program Director.
You were not there, Mama. It was 10.
Okay, thank you, Program Director. Thank you. I greet all of you. My question will be just one to Reverend.
Can we keep the order, please, as we have been doing? Thank you, ladies.
I am Spiwe Kininda. I'm from Chief Albert Lutul in Mpumalanga. My question, Reverend, is why are we taking the structure for the interim committee? Because according to the interim structure, and after that we appoint, are we not ngizawuthini asisebenzisa amandla omunye. What if that one in the committee is acting very good, and after that we advertise the appointment? Why can't we take these people, maybe, because I heard you when you said maybe 6 months or 1 year. It's too long. See, last corner because of the interim structure. Let's just work this model and check the term. The term is just the term is too long, and you are not going to repeat it again.
Thank you. Number 2.
Thank you, Program Director. My question is around this entire model that looks very good. It's very interesting, and it can be good if we apply our minds. I'm just asking because we had our provincial conference, and resolutions were taken at that conference. If I take it from the former presentations earlier around, that the entire process was flawed. So this is the new model that are, because of this AGM, carrying the weight, and we are taking this as a decision of the AGM, which are repealing the conference resolutions taken in 2021 in the Northern Cape. Thank you.
Thank you, Mama. 3. Yes, Western Cape, it's coming.
Thank you very much. My name is Polelwam Kukulwa from the Western Cape Province.
Sorry, can you speak louder, Mama?
Polelwam Kukulwa from the Western Cape Province. I just want to know, because even for the structure for us to start working, we have to be done with our constitution. The consultant that has been appointed, when are we expecting them to come to our provinces? Because for us to move into implementing that, the constitution must be ready. And for the constitution to be ready, that means we can only be able to benefit out of all the plan when the constitution is ready. And we'll also be able to engage with that when the consultants are moving into our provinces, because there's more to engage into that as well. I don't want to touch on it. Only when they come to my province, I will be able to touch on it, because I've already seen so many things that I want to speak about. So I am concerned because our minister spoke about the projects already, but with our old constitution, we are no longer talking of the past. We are going forward now, we see the future. So when is the consultant expected to come into our provinces so that we are able to start working?
Thank you, Mama. Number 4.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Feruzola de October from Western Cape. Thank you, Program Director. You look absolutely stunning. I've just got an add-on for the Reverend. Reverend, in your model, you talk about inclusive and representative. I think one of the words that should be included there should be accessible. Because if it's not accessible, it can never filter down to the other two. And like we know, we're not going to the past, but because there's no communication, accessibility, transparency, that is all what needs to come in. Thank you.
Thank you. Number 5.
Thank you very much, Program Director. My name is Linda Moss. I'm from the Western Cape, but I'm from a region where the longest train in the world is operating between the Northern Cape and the Western Cape, if you talk about rail transport. Chairperson, first of all, I just hear you appoint a consultant, but what is this consultant's name? Who is he? Because we talk about from today, we want to be transparent. Because that consultant is appointed to assist in this woman in this house with that constitution. Secondly, a constitution is key. South Africa will not move after 1994 in democracy if we didn't have a constitution. So this organization will not move forward. As the minister was saying today, and also our leadership is saying, it's women here, to move forward. We cannot implement, as the honorable member was saying, when the minister said there's opportunities, when this constitution is not a man and speaking towards it. So what is the timeline on the amendment of this constitution? We cannot amend forever. What is the timeline? We must work on a timeline. Then also on the issue of the structure and so forth, I think we will discuss it in our own province. What that consulting company, I don't know what is the name, we will discuss this thing in our province thoroughly. And I want to say to each province, please have your session immediately when we leave here on Friday. Next month, on the 15th of September, all of us must have that session. What Makoti was saying. Thank you very much.
Number 6, please. Thank you, Western Cape.
Order is order. Chairperson of the session, my name is Rhoda Skay from the Western Cape, West Coast Saldanha Bay, where are we participating in the Pakisa program. Chairperson, we are not going to talk about the past, but we also don't want the past must repeat itself. And if we're going to review our constitution must not be silent on discipline. Our constitution must not also be silent in demonstrating leadership. Because when the minister was speaking, she was very unhappy in terms of the demonstrating of leadership in the issue of discipline. Because I hate the word gatekeeping. I hate people must gatekeep people information. Information is power. If we've all have the information for the last 12 years or 14 years, I mean, how many jobs will be created? How many women will be empowered? Never can the past repeat itself. So if we're gonna implement that BBBE component, as been explained so thoroughly, we can't have any mistakes in that, because the national government is being challenged by others in terms of that BBBE. There's a other devil. They don't like our government's BBBE policy. And we will see it and we'll face it when people are going to demonstrate the democracy next year. So for us, all of us in this room, we must make it sure that top level, which is the council, must make not any mistake. That's why provinces must be very careful when we go back and assess. We must not make any mistakes because it will be indictment on our leadership of transportation. So when are we going next year demonstrating our democracy and we're coming back 9 August next year, I will see a few billionaires and millionaires in this room.
Agreed. Number 7. No, Mama. I gave you, she'll be the last one. Yeah, no, it's, yeah. Number 7. There was a 7. 7 and 8, please.
Mine will be only 2. Hello. Previously we had.
What has gone wrong now?
I'm talking.
Sorry, ladies, please. Thank you.
I'm talking on an operational model. Is it diverse as before on the application form, whereby if I'm on the operational of public transport, I can also be on a rail sector model? Because on the value chain, some of them, they partner each other. So that is a question for the model. And before, we used to have the form where there was skill assessment. I don't know that program, where did it end up? We need, as provinces, to have those skills assessment because some of us, we having dual skills or multiple skills in programs.
Thank you, Mama. Number 8, 9 and 10, as you prepare yourself.
Good afternoon. Thank you, program leader. My name is Zulisa Mapekte from Tran. All protocol observed. Mr. Reverend, Mr. Patrick, your model is quite interesting. However, my interest and curiosity is in the interim council, which is made up of stream leaders and whoever that is there. But now my curiosity just is in terms of the research and development wing, and also the transport leaders and the experts in the industry. Legal, I haven't heard about it, but because we've got a challenge of political interference. So how are we protected in everything that we're doing? Because we might sit here, deliberate on everything that we're talking about, but political interference becomes a huge challenge. Thank you.
9, thank you, Mama.
Thank you, Program Director. My name is Sihle from KZN. All protocol observed. My question is that how possible for us to get a reviewed constitution in different provinces so that we can view it and read it and put some input and see whether is it friendly to us or friendly to our problems. Because now it will be of no use to create a constitution whereas it doesn't communicate with our problems. Then before we pass it, then we see as a tool. Because now if we just say it should be reviewed and we don't know even the old one, I'm just asking that one. And then another one, to keep this engine running all the time. It's just a suggestion, I don't know. Is it possible, because I've heard this morning, they said we are 500, women in 500. Is it possible to make just a database of these 500 women all the time that we get the information so that to keep the engine on motion all the time? Thank you.
Thank you. Number 10.
Baie dankie, programdirekteur. My naam is Miriam Pali, so ek is van Namakwa in die Noord-Kaap. Die eerste ene is ek baie bekommerd as 'n Noord-Kaap se SANWIT lid wat 'n hele distrik lei in die provinsie. Want ons het lede het ons gewerf en ons het op die ou grondwet gewerk. Want die ou grondwet, ons het hom nou tot niet verklaar. Maar dit gaan beïnvloed die nuwe insette wat ons gaan maak by die nuwe grondwet wat deur die provinsies moet kom. My punt wat ek wil maak is dat ons provinsie het klaar 'n konferensie, 'n AGM gehou. Het hom klaar gehou. Want nasionaal moes toe hulle 'n probleem gehad het. Laat ons se AGM wat ons gehou het ongrondwetlik is. Met 'n grondwet wat soveel leemtes gehad het, wat nie eers aanspreek wat moet die prosedure wees nie, maar die grondwet is nou uitgewys net vir die Noord-Kaap om die Noord-Kaap te kortwiek. Dit gaan nie werk nie. Want hoekom? Die nuwe ene, ons wil insette lewer, want die Noord-Kaap se geleenthede wat die minister van gepraat het, daai groot boegoebuis biljoene wat daar gaan wees, die vrouens is honger vir daai bemagtiging. En dis hoekom hulle aansluit by SANWIT en nie by leiers wat beklei ten koste van ons op die grond nie. As die mense op die grond die leier gekies het, wie is iemand anders om vir ons te kom sê wat moet ons doen en vir wie ons moet kies?
Thank you, Mama.
Ons
Mama,
wil nie
the last one.
verdeel word nie. Ons wil nie gaan verdeel word nie. Nasionaal moet